Hello, Alina. This is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your Kenmore 10 stitch. What a beauty. And this is the final test before we pack her up and ship her out to you. And in this test, we're going to go over how to wind the bobbin and how to thread the machine and how to use the various controls. So we're going to start by winding a bobbin, and you'll find your bobbin in the bobbin case inside this little door here in the arm. Pull the latch out, and it makes a handy little handle, and as long as you're holding the latch, the bobbin won't drop out while you're moving it around. We'll take off the old thread. And let's see. Put your spool of thread on the bobbin winder, on the spool pin. Go around the tension device for the bobbin winder, and I usually go around in a clockwise direction so that you're crossing back over your thread before you go into the bobbin. Put your thread through one of the little holes in the side of the bobbin. Hold it there with your finger while you put a few wraps on there just to hold the thread in place while the bobbin winds. Put the bobbin on the bobbin winder pin. Push the bobbin towards the hand wheel. Declutch your machine by turning the knob in the center of your hand wheel towards you a quarter turn or so until it hits its stop. And then you're ready to wind after you plug it in. Minor detail, huh? Okay. Okay, go gently on the foot control. No reason to go fast. You'll get a smoother wind, less chance of tangling your thread up under the spool. Okay, and that should be plenty for our test. Move the bobbin away from the hand wheel. Retighten the knob in the center of your hand wheel. And the bobbin goes into the bobbin case with the thread coming off the top in this direction. Then direct your thread into the little slanted notch and under the flat leaf spring, which is your lower tension. Holding that latch again while you push the bobbin case into the bobbin race. Make sure your needle is up out of the bobbin race or you won't be able to slide your bobbin case past it. Make sure it's in snugly. And to thread the machine, put the spool on top of, on the spool pin, go into the first thread guide here, and then on the back. First thread guide here, and I believe that we go under that. Let's start that over. Okay, go into the thread guide at the top here. Go between the discs of the tension assembly all the way around until you pick up the check spring, and then pull up until your thread goes into the notch at the top here. Go into the thread guide above that, then through the take-up lever from right to left. Pick up this thread guide down here. The thread guide on your needle clamp. Then you go through the eye of the needle from the front towards the back. And I always cut a fresh end just so you're not fighting all those little frays. And it's much easier to thread your needle. Holding the thread loosely, turn your hand wheel towards you one full revolution, and the needle will take the thread down where the hook will pick it up, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up your lower thread. Here's your lower thread. Oop, there it is. Put your thread between the toes of the pressure foot towards the back of the machine, and you're ready to sew. The bed extension, by the way, just slides on and off. Let's see. Okay, before we start, this is your stitch length here, the outer ring. We're going to put it on about 12 stitches per inch because that's a pretty good anyway, for regular sewing, that's a pretty good stitch length. And let's see. Your machine does reverse stitches as well, stretch stitches. And if you look at your little pattern selection here, you'll see some of the patterns are in orange and some are in white. There's a little dot on your inner knob here, and when that little orange dot is facing up towards the mark, you're using, of course, the orange stitches, and those are your non-reversing stitches. To do the white stitches, which are the reversing stitches, you simply turn so it's the white section that says modifiers is just about midway between the L and the S, and there's an indent there, so you'll feel it when it clicks into place. And then if you want to squish your squish your stitch in a little bit or change the shape of it, you can modify it going a little closer to the L or the S. And then as you go further around, you'll see your three buttonhole choices. Okay, but we're going to go back to the regular stitches. So the orange dot is facing up. Your stitch width selector is up here. When you're on 0, of course, there's no zig, no zag. It just shows a straight stitch. To show a zigzag, you turn the stitch width knob up. You have a choice between 0 and 4, and anywhere in between there, you'll get a wider zigzag the higher number you select. Above the stitch width knob is your stitch selector, and you can see above each of these markings there's a little window, and right now straight stitch and zigzag is selected. You can go to blind stitch and whatever you call that other little pyramid looking stitch onto reverse blind stitch. Yeah, I'm not a seamstress. I'm not sure what you'd use that for. And then over here to the multiple stitch zigzag and the chain stitch. So we're going to put it on the second one here, which is straight stitch. And if you apply some stitch width to it, it becomes a zigzag. So we're starting on 0 on the stitch width, 12 on the stitch length. So we're going to have a medium stitch length and no zigzag. So put your fabric, of course, under the presser foot. And it's kind of cold this morning and maybe a little bit slow getting started. We'll see here. Yeah, we're ready to go. Here we go. Hold your threads for the first stitch or two. Make sure your knob is tight there. Nice looking stitch on the top, nice and even on the bottom. You know, it actually could use just a little more tension. This is your tension adjustment here. I usually set them so that the median tension for regular sewing is about 3. You may need a little more, a little less to balance your stitch so that it's pulled up into the fabric from the top and the bottom. Not loose and loopy on the bottom. I'm going to add a little bit more stitch length. We're going to go up to 8 stitches per inch. I think that's what it is. This is a Japanese made machine, so it may be stitches per inch or it could be millimeters. No, it's stitches per inch. Yeah, stitches per inch. 8 stitches per inch. Again, straight stitch. Yeah, a little more tension, that looks better. Looks like you could use even maybe a tiny bit more, so I'm going to go up to 4 on the tension dial here. See how that looks. That looks good. Okay, now we're going to sew a zigzag, so you add a little bit of stitch width to that. I'm just going to turn it all the way up to 4 to the widest zigzag. And away we go. Nice looking zigzag. Now, of course, you can shorten the stitch length and have a much closer zigzag. Or you can take it way, way down to this orange mark here, which is satin stitch. And for that, you may need to get a satin stitch foot, which has a little channel underneath. So as the thread mounds up a little bit while it makes a really close zigzag, it doesn't hang up under the foot like can happen with a regular sewing foot, because then the fabric doesn't move and the thread balls up under the needle plate and you have to stop and cut it out, and that's no fun. Okay, I'm going to try it on the longest part of the satin stitch. See how we do here. Oh yeah, that's good enough. chances are good that you already know all of this, and so this will just be a like a little refresher for you. Yeah, looks good. And as I said, you know, if you're going to do a really, really close zigzag satin stitch, get a satin stitch foot for it. Okay, now we're going to go to the special stitches. So I'm going to turn it to the modifier setting, and I'm going to go back to 0 on the stitch width. So we're sewing a straight stitch again. But now the machine's going to move the fabric back and forth and put down 3 stitches side by side. Doing the right thing, but it doesn't seem to be going back very far. Let's see if that's something that I need to address or if it's just an adjustment. It's early in the morning and I have had my coffee, but let's see, I'm going to add a little bit of stitch length too. So you can see the fabric's moving back and forth and laying down multiple stitches side by side. So you can see how that looks like a thicker stitch there. It's actually 3 stitches laid side by side. And of course, you can add some stitch width to. I would take the needle up out of your fabric before you change the stitch width. I know that, and I usually forget. So I'm going to turn the stitch width up to 4. Now we're going to make a zigzag, but it's going to be, again, a built-up multiple stitch zigzag. Now I'm going to change the stitch pattern to the chain stitch. I'm going to set that on 12, and on most machines for 12 for chain stitch you want about 2. Let's see how that does. Two on the stitch width is what I meant to say. Yeah, nice looking. And while it's on that chain stitch, I'm going to go back to the orange dot so you can see the difference there. And this will make a multi-stitch zigzag. Same stitch width. I'm going to leave that on too. You know, on each zig and each zag, it puts down 2 or 3 stitches instead of just going zigzag, zigzag. Not what I expected, but let's put a wider zigzag and a shorter stitch length. Let's see what that does. Yeah, that's more what I was expecting. And just for fun, we'll do one more. Make sure the fabric or the needle's up out of the fabric. Move your stitch selector a couple marks over. We'll do a blind stitch. Add a little more stitch length for that one. I'm going to go back to 12 stitches per inch. Nice. And then I'm going to go around to the modifier setting again. And we're going to sew, I guess you call it a pyramid stitch, I'm not sure exactly. But it's the reverse stitch version of the blind stitch. I guess we want a little more stitch length there. Then there's one more setting there that you can try out for yourself. And you'll probably want to mess with the stitch length and width to get exactly the stitch that you want, but they're working great. So tension, we're going to leave it on about 4. If you want to do like darning or mending or any sort of free motion sewing where you move the fabric, you want to turn your tension down to 0, and then you want to release all the pressure on the sewing foot. Oh, let's just do it. What the heck? Okay. Wait a minute. Tension. No, let's leave that on 4. I'm sorry. Like I said, it's early. Even though I've had my coffee, it's just early. You know, I don't see a feed drop on this machine, so I'm not sure how you would do that. You'll have to look in your user manual, and I'll have to see if I have a manual to send you. If I have a PDF version of the manual, I'll send you that. And so I'm going to release all the pressure on the sewing foot by pressing down on that collar. I'm going to see if I can move the fabric. It just don't seem right that there's no feed drop, but I guess not every machine has feed drop. Let's see what happens. I probably have to go into your manual to see how to do that. Oh yeah. Okay. Just releasing the pressure on the sewing foot was enough that you can free motion sew. Then push the button in the center down about halfway. That's kind of the median sewing foot pressure. You want just enough pressure to move the fabric along with authority, you know, without pressing down really hard, because you could mar your super delicate fabrics that way. Let's see. Buttonholes. Yes, indeed. Let's see. I'm going to just see if I can just move this. No, I can't. Go to an unoccupied section here. And your buttonhole settings are on the white section of the dial. Let's see, we'll start by making a bar tack. Let's set it on 2 for the width of that buttonhole. Oops, and I guess I better go back to straight stitch. There we go. Now we're going to do the left side first. Then put a bar tack at the bottom. And then we'll do the right side. There. And there's a buttonhole. Oh, I guess I should have gone all the way up to my bar tack, but anyway, that's what we've done in our test this morning. Everything's looking good. She's sewing fine. Oil her after every 15 hours, say, of use. Remember to do that because it's important to keep a little bit of oil on all of the moving parts, so they're, instead of grinding on each other, they're riding on a smooth film of oil, and the parts never actually physically touch. Since thread, especially polyester, but any thread, is abrasive, you want to take this top plate, the needle plate, off. When you oil your machine, there are 2 screws, real easy to get out. Just take out those 2 screws, lift the plate off, and brush away all the lint and dust that's collected around the feed dogs and anywhere in there that you see dust. Vacuum it out, and that'll keep the wear down. Gosh, that's about it. Unplug when you're not using her. Always, whatever sewing machine you're using, always unplug when the machine's not in use. Because the foot controls are actually rheostats, which is like a variable resistor, and the way that it speeds up and slows down your the speed of your machine is by adding a little bit of resistance down there in the foot control. And the way resistance works is it dissipates part of the energy as heat. And if your machine were plugged in and you pushed your chair in, and the chair happened to catch the edge of your foot control and hold it down just a smidge, your foot control would get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. And foot controls have caused fires in the past. So just that. Unplug, just safer. Likelihood of that happening is not at all great, but better safe than sorry. I think we've covered everything here. I wish you many years of happy sewing with your new machine. And now we'll get her packed up and ready to send out to you. So again, Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. Our Oregon shop is on Stagecoach Road. So we are Stagecoach Road Sewing, and our web address is stagecoachroadsewing.com. And hopefully by the time anybody else sees this video, I'm going to post it on YouTube. We'll be back in Oregon, and our Oregon shop will be open again, and all of the machines that are on the website that are restored and available to buy, we'll have access to. Right now we're wintering down near the Mexico border out in the desert, and so we don't have access to the machines that are in our Oregon shop. We've got 20 or 30 machines available right now, but as I say, we can't just go get them and ship them out. So they're not for sale at the moment, but uh, in probably mid to late April, we'll be back in at our Oregon shop, and those machines that you see on Stagecoach Road Sewing.com will again be available. And also on the website, we have a kind of a online museum of hundreds and hundreds, literally hundreds and hundreds of machines that we've restored over the last 15 to 25 years. We actually lost about 10 years worth of photos in a tragic computer crash. But um, if you go to the website there, you can see hundreds and hundreds of beautiful machines, views from all different angles, and maybe a little bit of information about each machine. Just some gorgeous old machines, every make and model, and I guess that's enough verbiage. Again, thank you. We'll get your machine out to you, and boy, oh boy. Thanks a lot. This is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. Thanks for watching.